Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings. Welcome back. As you can see in the date line, this is just over 2 years ago. 31-year-old woman pregnant by 13-year-old won't see jail time. I want you to pay attention. I've made reference to this in other videos, and that is forensic statement analysis. This is There's a phrase for it. Stix Hexenhammer calls it linguistic arts. And it's George Carlin called it soft language, changing shell shock to PTSD, and you know, military, you know, when your military kills its own people as quote unquote friendly fire, that's soft language. That's linguistic arts. Those are examples. In this headline right here, 31-year-old woman pregnant by, not only is it the overt right off the bat, that says that this adult woman who is more than twice the age of her victim, look at the way that the sentence is phrased right here. It says a 31-year-old woman pregnant by. So it puts all of the blame on a 13-year-old boy. That is how insidious this has become. It it's been weaponized in such a manner that they use this language art, these tools of, and this is what forensic statement analysis does. It allows you to look at it and dissect it. Dr. Frederick Graves, who runs the jurisdictionary, calls it, the keep it simple, stupid method of each line being subject, verb, object, period. Next line, subject, verb, object, period. And that's what a headline is. It's something that's pithy, grabs your attention. But this does more than grab your attention. This, if you watched the Homath and, oh shoot, what was the guy's name? He was the social engineer. Oh gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. Hold on a second. This one's important because so around the week leading up to Easter, around Good Friday, somewhere in that time frame, Homath and Psych Human Engineering, is that his name? Human Psych Engineering. Human Psych Engineering, all one word, discussed psychological operations. Psychological operations are essentially the manipulation tools to get you to comply you know with all kinds of things. They covered a vast history of things over our most recent point, from the foot in the door phenomenon, meaning the salesman who can get his foot in the door keeps you from being able to close the door, allowing you to hear him do his sales pitch, and hopefully in that time before you crush his foot, he's able to hook you so that you open the door, allowing him to come in and sell you that broken down vacuum cleaner or whatever it was back in the day. And that's what this does. 31-year-old woman pregnant by. So, right off the bat, if you've been following any of this, you should be able to read it and say, at least it should have said 31-year-old woman charged with statutory abuse by a, you know, they don't even do that. They ignore the abuse that this woman did, the inappropriate relations, the rape of a 13-year-old. And I want to highlight this, that even though it's been 2 years, this reinforces everything I've said. If you were facing a 10-year sentence for rape of an underage child, would you be smiling as you walk into court? I mean, the chyron you can't read all of it, but it's blocking her wrist. She's not even handcuffed. She's crossing her hand over her wrist. And if you've been following the body language training that I've been providing, you'll know that that's a protection thing. That's the single arm wrap on the behavioral table of elements. And you take that in conjunction with the other things. Look at that beaming smile ear to ear. She's looking at the woman judge. All right, the judge is Jennifer Branch. So here's Emily Nutley beaming. All right, so she was going in. She'd already said not guilty. She goes in there facing 10 years, and she looks at Jennifer Branch, who's the judge, smiling. I don't know about you. Me personally, never been in that situation. Hope, I'm never alleged to be in that situation. And I've never done anything that would warrant it. So here, but regardless, I'm not going into court smiling ear to ear when I change, if I were to be changing a plea from not guilty to guilty. That's how you know she made a sweetheart plea for probation, because in all of the news reports, they gloss up. There's only one of the news reports that I came across that reference that probation is the minimum sentence. And you know dang well, because of what I'm reading to you on this story from 2 years ago, that's what she's going to get, because that's what all these other women have gotten, is probation. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So it says this happened in Colorado. Colorado is the same place where the Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold, gave the passwords out to all the voting machines, back in, what was it, last summer, last spring? So sometime in the last year. And she's running around free, while a county clerk who was what's called a Gold Star parent, and a Gold Star parent refers to parents whose children died in the line of military action, military duty. And they, I don't want to say the only word that comes to mind, because it's it's not even 7 o'clock in the morning. So um, they're awarded a status of essentially hero of, just like the old hero of the Soviet Union thing. It's a hero of the Republic thing. It's macabre. But the clerk is in prison, and Bleach Blonde Bimbo Bondi hasn't done anything to remedy that. And Cash Patel is nothing but a crazy eyed liar. Day one, I'm going to turn it into a museum and release Epstein. Yeah, whatever. Dude, get out of here. Oh, Dan Bongino wouldn't walk away from $1 million contract to, to not do anything. Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would. It's obvious, because his Bongino's thing's still making money for him. It's not like he's losing anything. He's just having to pay his surrogate to fill in for him. Let's move on. 13-year-old boy and becoming pregnant with his child will not face jail time. Andrea Serrano was facing sexual assault charges after her arrest last year, but has accepted a plea deal. And this is the mother. I feel like my son is robbed of his childhood. Now he's having to be a father. He's a victim, and he's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life, the victim's mother said. If you look at the comments that people will put on these news reports, either on their websites or on social media sites, the amount of men and women that glorify it, saying, he enjoyed it. What are you talking about? Or women can't grape, it's impossible. Yeah, my favorite is the lawyer who persecuted the victim in court about the babysitter doing this to the child, and saying, well, you were man enough to do it, so you can be man enough to pay for it. Those evil individuals need a reckoning. And It's not a popular take. I get it, and I'm not advocating for what Luis Mangione did to the United Healthcare executive. But let's get real. What did the healthcare executive do that was so egregious that these so-called judges aren't also 10 times, 100 times more guilty of? I mean, you got freaking Deadeye Biden writing a, what was it, a pardon or a clemency for the Cash for Kids judge from 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So that judge is back out there roaming around ready to start trafficking children again. It's insane. This mother says watching her son struggle with the reality he now faces breaks her heart. Yeah, he's 13 years old. What business does a 13-year-old have being abused? In fact, you got all these freaking clowns. You got that Keir Starmer. I watch adolescents with my boys about how bad some guy out of Romania is because women go around saying kill all men and we don't need men, but yet because they're hearing this all the time and just not doing anything, they're bad. They're bad. We live in a completely inverted world, twisted world. Think Alice in Wonderland, Alice through the Looking Glass, where everything's absurd. It has caused him a lot of depression. He has shut down a lot, the victim's mother added. I feel like if she was a man and he was a little girl, it would definitely be different. They would be seeking incarceration, and I feel that because she's a woman, they are not. Finally, finally, finally. Granted, this is 2 years ago, but it's still recent. This is absolute gold right here. They are having compassion for her because she's pregnant, but they don't take into play she was pregnant and that child was created from a sexual abuse. Right there, she is spot on. Finally, a woman is beginning to get it. Her entire gender is responsible for the upside down, twisted world that we live in that's decaying all around us. I've used the word before, GYNO-KAKISTOCRACY. So, in case you're not familiar with the word, so gyno refers to feminine. Woman goes to a gynecologist, gyno. And a gynocracy is ruled by women. Kakocracy is ruled by the most incompetent, stupidest, idiotic individuals available. The lowest common denominator. Think of the No Child Left Behind, how it holds back students because any student who's trailing, that you can't proceed your class education so long as the slowest student, whether because of they're just not comprehending or they're being deliberate and not wanting to participate. Um, Nobody can advance until they're caught up. That's what our society is ruled by, is that same level of incompetence. And this woman, this mother, is absolutely gold. She's drawing it out. So all these perverts, they're celebrating, oh, I wish I had teachers like that in school, or women can't rape. These are perverts and they need to be called out for their perversions, celebrating it, because what they're doing is they're glorifying sexual abuse of a child. And this is it's inappropriate, unacceptable. And she's laying it out. She's seeing it every day, and that is the depression. You know that he's now at a higher risk of suicide because of this abuse. And you look at the numbers; it's there. It's real. When in reality, this woman, the victimizer, the abuser, she gets a plea deal. No, her head needs to be on a guillotine. Now she questions why this woman won't face prison time. Under terms of the plea deal the suspect signed off on, She will be required to register as a sex offender, and the judge could sentence her to 10 years to life on sex offender intensive supervised probation. So not only did she get a plea deal, she's not even being required to be on probation. This plea deal, you talk about Willy Wonka's golden ticket. This is, we don't have justice. We have just us by the GYNO-KAKISTOCRAcy. Serrano will avoid any jail time since the DA's office dropped the original charges to a lesser charge that does not come with mandatory jail time. The article concludes that the boy's family is seeking custody, saying that he's going to seek custody. Let me read the sentence here if I can find it, because I had Nutley's stuff pulled up. Victim's family plans to ask the courts to give the 13-year-old custody of the child. I wouldn't waste time. I would just go on the dark web and look for a contractor. USAID, United States Agency for International Development, has been defunded. There's a lot of contractors that are out of work that have wet works skills. $5,000 will get things taken care of. Oh my gosh, did you just say? Look, it's a just us system. This is evil. What is the old saying? About evil. So let's take a look at it, or let's listen to it. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men, and in this case, mothers, to do nothing. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. And that is why everything is inverted, twisted upside down. The Boy Scouts to men's clubs have been made illegal congregations. The First Amendment says you have the freedom of assembly. Denied, as long as you're a man. Look, the dark web has been demonized by a lot of different areas. And yes, there's some things that are kind of freaky in there. And yes, if one were to do as I was, screaming into the ether, there are risks of being honeypotted and whatnot. But this is unsustainable. I've said it before. This kind of multi-tiered just us system is not sustainable. When we allow violent offenders such as this, what's her name? Andrea Serrano out of Colorado to roam free and to predate upon additional minors. Because even though the victim's family is going to petition the court for him to get custody, they're going to deny it because he's a youth. He's going to be completely traumatized again, and he's going to be abused further financially because of what's called Title 4D. Title 4D is child support money from the federal government. The way that works is for every $1,000 that's ordered by a so-called court, they collect it. They get that $1,000. But in addition to it, the federal government reimburses that quote unquote expense $666. So they make $666 off of every $1,000 collected. And exactly that's why they do this inverted nonsense, because they're greedy and they need it. Look, you cannot be nice with these people. You can't be, oh, we have to take the high road. You know what? We've taken the high road. You've got all those people from January 6th who were thrown in prison just because they were present. They weren't doing anything. They were present, and so they got thrown in prison and isolated and abused for upwards of 3 to 4 years. The insanity has to stop, and the only way to do it is to push back the same way they're pushing us.